So today I thought to talk about how we should understand the Buddha's teachings. These are the basic. Most of the time I mention these basics of Buddhism we have to understand. Then otherwise we may not see why Lord Buddha teach Dhamma in this way. So when we born in this world as a human or any other living being, when we are experiencing through this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, this world, when we are experiencing this world through eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, always we have that notion, I am experiencing, I see, I hear, I smell, I taste, I have the touches, and this I am thinking. It is a part of this consciousness. That's why Lord Buddha say, this consciousness is always deluded. It is a part of the consciousness. It arises based on delusion. So we have to correct these things, otherwise we are always in delusion. It is a part of the system. So that is one of the important thing. According to Buddhism, we have to understand. Otherwise, whatever form, feeling, perceptions, volitions, and consciousnesses we think as it is true, or it is real, or it is permanent, it is fixed. This kind of perceptions always associate with our conscious process. So that's why we value our experiences. We want some experiences. We want to get rid of some of the experiences. And we want some experiences get back again and again. So that's why how we value these things and how we take these things is the problem. So that's why Lord Buddha say, if you contemplate on these things as impermanent, and things arise based on causes and conditions and each and every moment, and therefore these things leads to suffering. Because impermanence, these things lead to suffering. So how can we take these things as my experiences? Experience arise based on causes and conditions. So these are the basic teachings of Buddhism. So if we don't take these things in this way, you don't understand why Buddha teach these things. Because Lord Buddha say it is this is a natural flow of happening things. This is a natural phenomena. This body and mind is a natural phenomena. Always these sight, sound, smells, taste, touches, when contact with eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, so this consciousness arise. When the contact arise, the consciousness arise first, and then contact arise, then feelings, perceptions, volitions arise within us. So it is a natural process. So this consciousness is always based on our past karma. Karma means the past experiences, past actions. Actions means mental actions, verbal actions, bodily actions, all come together. Important part is mental action, because mental action drives the verbal actions and bodily actions. So previous mental actions always support to the present moment consciousness. So the present moment experiences generate new thoughts, new feelings, perceptions, volitions. These feelings, perceptions, volitions support to the future consciousness. When consciousness is arise, when contact objects, the contact happens. So when the objects present and your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind present, this consciousness arise and contact happens. So this consciousness always supported by your past karma. It is a part of the system. So there is no other way. It is common for all living beings. All sentient beings, their consciousnesses run based on this natural phenomena. So that's why Lord Buddha say, you have to understand in this way. So then you see this is a natural process. Things arise based on causes and conditions. And when the causes and conditions are cease, these things also cease. These are not fixed things. And because things are changing, you fall into suffering. When your consciousness arises, the wanting, craving also arise based on that conscious process. Because that is the meaning of consciousness. You are choosing things, you are valuing things, you are understanding things. Is this understandings, valuing, these feelings, all these things are fixed, permanent? No. These things change when the causes and conditions are changing. It is a natural process. It is the flow of happening things. So that's why Lord Buddha say, when you are aware of this nature of your eye, nose, tongue, body and mind, and all forms, feelings, perceptions, volitions, and consciousnesses arise within you, also have the same characteristics. Impermanence and suffering always associate, and therefore it is not worthy to say as yours, because these things arise based on causes and conditions, not because it is a part of this world. So when you have that understanding, and then your mind gets softened, because you know things arise and pass away. So if you attach to these things, definitely leads to suffering. If you value these things, so then your mind naturally turn away from these objects. Not only that, your eye, nose, tongue, body, mind consciousness also fade away and disappear. You turn away from experiences, the sight, sound, smells, taste, touches and thoughts. You know these things come and go, these things change. So there's a little value of these things. So your mind turn away from these objects. So that is how mind inclined to the extinguishment. Let go things and free your mind, liberate your mind from contacting objects. First, as a human, we have all our engagement with five sense world objects. We always deal with the five sense world objects. So these objects, because we are conscious, we have values, we have perceptions regarding all the objects we contact through our eye, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So mind actually always involved with these five sense world objects when we live as a human. So that's why we have values. We have the different kind of perceptions, feelings, and therefore the volitions or the choices arise behind that. So then this is a continuous process. When we are living in our day-to-day life, for maintaining our body, maintaining our life, so we have to deal with these things. But these things always associate with suffering, because these are impermanent stuff. So that's why Lord Buddha say, when you look at these things in this way, your mind turn away from these things. You are not try to think and try to find out goods and bads. You just use things as it is, then turn away from these things and liberate your mind from these objects. Because thinking is you are wandering around these things, but you don't get a permanent essence, or the permanent feelings, perceptions, volitions never generate inside. So there is nothing permanent here. So therefore, all these feelings, perceptions, volitions, and consciousnesses leads to suffering. So that's why your mind, when you see the world in this way, your mind turn away from these things, and that means you are not unhappy or get upset with these things. You accept the reality as it is. You are contented. You have less expectations. When your level of expectations go down, you are always contented. You don't expect from a lot of things from this world. Therefore, you are always happy person. So that's why it is, that's why Lord Buddha say, when we practice this right view in this way, the abhijja, domanassa, greed and unhappiness getting diminished. So you can directly experience these things in this life. So that's why the Lord Buddha inspire people to practice in this way. Then your mind you understand engaging with these five senses is always leads to suffering. So your mind get turned away from these five senses, and you get the training to liberate your mind from five sense world. That is the higher part of the Noble Eightfold Path. The sixth, seventh, and eighth factors of Noble Eightfold Path. You develop your mind to the jhana states with the mindfulness. So for doing all these things, you have to maintain the mindfulness in the present moment. Because otherwise, your mind always works based on your past karma, your past training, past habits. So when you listen to these things, it is something new to you. It is not usual to your way of this mind and body works. So you have to train your mind to use this knowledge in your day-to-day life. So then you have to be mindful. That is the way how you train your body to drive cars, write letters from your small age. You have to be mindful at the beginning. You have to train your mindfulness. And the mindfulness with the understanding about what you are doing. So in the same way, you have to train your mind to use this knowledge in your day-to-day life, in your all your actions. That is called sati sampajanya. Mindfulness with right understanding. Actually, you have used this mindfulness with understanding to other jobs. Whatever thing you are doing successfully now is doing based on the same method. Mindfulness with the understanding about what you are doing. That is that whatever understanding you take as right at that moment. In the same way, if you want to practice Buddhism in the correct way, you have to correct your perceptions. So the wrong perceptions regarding your eye, nose, tongue, body and mind, all forms, feelings, perceptions, volitions arise within you based on delusion. So we don't think these things as permanent, but mind takes these things as permanent. It is the way how this mind works, because mind was not trained to eliminate that wrong notion. So that's why Lord Buddha say you have to practice correctly. Then you can correct your perceptions. You have to practice the right perceptions. Impermanence, suffering, and not self. These things you have to practice again and again. Then you can avoid mind fall into the suffering states, and then you can release your mind from this five sense world and develop mind to the higher states. So I will read a sutta. So how Lord Buddha teach these things, because in Tipitaka, these three baskets of teachings. So you can have thousands of suttas. Lord Buddha teach the same thing. So that's why I'm reading another sutta. So this one is how Lord Buddha talk about these things and how Lord Buddha try to teach people these things. So you can see when you're listening to this sutta. This is Linked Discourses 35.146. SN 35.146 Samyukta Nikaya. Salayatana Vagga Samyutta, Salayatana Samyutta, Tatiya Pannasaka, Navapurana Vagga. This is a translation of that Vagga is the old and the new. This is Samyukta Nikaya 35.146, the old and the new. In Pali, the name of the sutta is Kamma Nirodha Sutta, the cessation of action. Mendicants, I will teach you old action, new action, the cessation of action, and the practice that leads to the cessation of action. Because this, according to Dhamma, this action arises based on delusion. Avidya paccaya sankara, sankara paccaya. These actions are always come from delusion. The cessation of action is you are liberating your mind. So from all actions, then everything goes to cessation. So here Buddha says, mendicants, I will teach you old action, new action, the cessation of action, and practice that leads to the cessation of action. Listen and apply your mind well. I will speak. And what is old action? The I is old action. The meaning is, I is a product of old action. I is old action. It should be seen as produced by choices and intentions, as something to be felt. The ear is old action. It should be seen as produced by choices and intentions, as something to be felt. The nose is old action. It should be seen as produced by choices and intentions, as something to be felt. The tongue is old action. It should be seen as produced by choices and intentions, as something to be felt. The body is old action. It should be seen as produced by choices and intentions, as something to be felt. The mind is old action. It should be seen as produced by choices and intentions, as something to be felt. This is called old action. And what is new action? The deeds you currently perform by way of body, speech, and mind. That means currently how you use your body, speech, and mind. This is called new action. And what is the cessation of action? When you experience freedom due to the cessation of deeds by body, speech, and mind, this is called the cessation of action. So, and what is the practice that leads to the cessation of action? It is simply the Noble Eightfold Path. That is right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right immersion. So that means this Eightfold Path leads to the cessation of action. So that you can understand, this is the way how Lord Buddha teach this Dhamma. So then you have to understand, it leads to the cessation of action. When you follow the path, it leads to the cessation of action. So first, the five sense world activities, this is your body action. Then you go to the cessation of mental actions. The feelings and perceptions go to the cessation, and then that is the called total cessation. This is called the practice that leads to the cessation of action. So mendicants, I have taught you old action, new action, the cessation of action, and the practice that leads to the cessation of action. Out of compassion, I have done what a teacher should do who wants what's best for their disciples. So this is the way Lord Buddha says. So this is the way how teach the path and practices. Here these roots of trees, and here these empty huts, practice absorption. Mendicants, don't be negligent. Don't regret it later. This is my instruction to you. So this is what Lord Buddha say to practice and develop the path. So your eye and nose, tongue, body arise here based on the past actions, past intentions. So it is now here. You are doing actions. There is the present actions. So Lord Buddha see the cessation of actions. So Lord Buddha show the path to the cessation of actions. This is again, different way of describing the Four Noble Truths. So I will read the sutta, the next sutta of that series. So this is the impermanent as conducive to extinguishment. Anicca Nibbana Sappaya Sutta. So the next sutta in the series, because when you contemplate objects as impermanent, it leads to turn away your mind from this five sense world, and it leads to it helps to develop the higher states of mind and directly experience the liberation from suffering. So fulfilling the Noble Eightfold Path. So Lord Buddha say this is a way to experience the extinguishment. Mendicants, I will teach you a practice that conducive to extinguishment. Listen and apply your mind well. I will speak. And what is the practice that conducive to extinguishment? It is when a mendicant sees that the eye sights, it is when the mendicant sees that the eye sights, eye consciousness, and eye contact are impermanent. Here it is important to understand, it is when a mendicant sees, that means he has already developed the vision. So this is an important thing. When you come to that state of seeing things as impermanent, so what happened? They see the eye, ear, nose. No, they see the ear. So I will read you again. When a mendicant sees that the eye sights, eye consciousness, the eye contact are impermanent, they see that the painful, pleasant, or neutral feeling that arises conditioned by eye contact is also impermanent. They see that the ear sounds, ear consciousness, and ear contact are impermanent. And they see that the painful, pleasant, or neutral feeling that arises conditioned by ear contact is also impermanent. They see that the nose smells, nose consciousness, and nose contact are impermanent. And they see that the painful, pleasant, or neutral feeling that arises conditioned by nose contact is also impermanent. They see the tongue, tastes, tongue consciousness, and tongue contact are impermanent. And they see that the painful, pleasant, or neutral feeling that arises conditioned by tongue contact is also impermanent. They see that the body touches, body consciousness, and body contact are impermanent. And they see the painful, pleasant, or neutral feeling that arises conditioned by body contact is also impermanent. They see that the mind and the mind thoughts, mind consciousnesses, and mind contact are impermanent. And they see the painful, pleasant, or neutral feeling that arises conditioned by mind contact is also impermanent. This is the practice that conducive to extinguishment. So here it is important to understand it is a way how seeing this world. But this seeing never arises without practicing correctly. So I will read the one extract from Vipallasa Sutta, which I read 2 months ago. So Vipallasa Sutta say how to correct this vision, how to get the right vision. So this is just an extract of that the Vipallasa Sutta. This is in brief. how you should understand, how it get to people, how this vision come to people. Perceiving impermanence as permanence, suffering as happiness, not self as self, and unpleasantness as beauty, or ugliness as beauty. Sentient beings are ruined by wrong view, deranged out of their minds, yoked by Mara's yoke. These people find no sanctuary from the yoke. Sentient beings continue to transmigrate with ongoing birth and death. But when the Buddhas arise in the world, those beacons revealing this teaching that leads to the stilling of suffering. When the wise person hears them, they get their mind back, seeing impermanence as impermanence, suffering as suffering, not self as not self, ugliness or unpleasantness ugliness or unpleasantness, seeing ugliness as ugliness, or seeing unpleasantness as unpleasantness, taking up right view. They have arisen above all suffering. So that's why Lord Buddha say you have to first correct the perceptions. Then when you practice the right perceptions, then you get the right mind, right attention to objects. When you have the right attention, then you have the right view. So in Vipallasa Sutta, Lord Buddha explained these things. So that is the way how we have to correct this wrong view, which is a part of our conscious process. So then we practice, when we see the world in the right way, then mind start turn away from all these experiences. You don't worry. You have lesser expectations about all your experiences. You are not running behind better experiences. You take your experiences as it is, and you just train your mind to turn away from these things and free your mind from this world. Then you start experiencing liberation from all these experiences. All the karma. This is how to liberate from doings. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Then I can speak. Okay, good.
Mic test. Hopefully this works now. Thank you, Ajahn, for the very deep presentation today.
Thank you, Ajahn. Yes, it would be wonderful if one could only do these things as completely or as effectively as one would wish. I want to ask, often the feeling hits us first. They really say painful, negative feeling comes upon us, which means, of course, that we haven't advanced that far along the path. But I think for a lot of us, that's the big signal, feeling.
Yeah.
What processes would you suggest we use, therefore, to wind back from that really negative feeling?
Yeah. You have to understand that when you have the negative feeling, if you have heard before, these feelings are impermanent. You have heard before, no? So then you can, if you have that little bit confidence about that teaching, or you have respect to the people who tell these things, so then you just think, they have told this, the feeling is impermanent. Is it true? Yes. You can see, before you contact that object, which create unpleasantness within your body and mind, you had a good feeling. You have a pleasant feeling. You examine within yourself. then you have a wish, okay, then this unpleasant feeling also may disappear soon. That's what Ajahn Brahm says, this one also will pass away. You have to take like that. This one also change after some time. Then you have the courage to bear this one, because you know this one not last forever. That's why you take impermanence as impermanence. Otherwise you take, now I am suffering now, I have no escape. That is foolish. Because people then start struggling, fighting, doing things, running up and down, scolding other people and screaming. If you know things impermanent, if you take as impermanent, you're just patient. Wait a little bit. Very simple things. You should have the faith and confidence regarding the teaching. Then you apply it and see how it works. If you don't have faith and confidence regarding what you hear, you just throw away that teaching and you just act according to your past karma, how you were trained. Because from small age you have seen how the parents or the neighbors or your people who associate with you, how to react these things. You follow the same thing, or whatever way you train your body and mind in the past to react when you experience different feelings or the unpleasant feelings. So that's why the faith and confidence is the initial part of this practice. Then you are courageous to apply this knowledge to your present moment experience. Then you train your mind to follow that and then let go things. Be patient, let go. So then you experience the changes again. These things start disappearing. And then you focus to the causes and conditions also. When you train your mind to the patience, then you see why these things arise within us. Because you contact that object. That object creates unhappiness. It is a way your consciousness, because your consciousness is one side, the other side is the object, external object. Your consciousness, the conscious process create unhappiness because your mind trained to be unhappy about that kind of situations or that kind of objects. Now you are training your mind to accept as it is. If you have to do anything to correct that something, if anything goes wrong, so if you have the opportunity to correct these things, so then you can do something. Otherwise, accept as it is. What to do?
Could I just ask again? It's very helpful, I guess, with a calm mind to reflect on causes, because all sorts of things pop up to surprise us, don't they? From the long past sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's that understanding of causes that is very helpful.
Yeah, the important thing is some of the things, first thing, you should train your mind to let go things, because it is the most important thing to calm down your mind. Otherwise, if your mind is run with the perceptions, volitions arise within your mind, feelings, perceptions, volitions arise in your mind, just drives your mind. So it leads to always the more unskillful mental states. So that's why if you practice the right perceptions, your mind calm down and still. So then you can pay the attention to correct things. Because when you are living in your day-to-day life, you have to deal with objects wisely. So that's what Lord Buddha said. Sometimes when you go to the dining table, you see some food. Oh, this is delicious, I should eat. But your doctor has told you not to eat those things. These things create your health problem worse. If your mind drives according to your feelings and perceptions, if you don't have a control on these things, you don't take these feelings, perceptions are impermanent, You just, what this doctor? Doctor don't know anything. I will eat this one. I have to enjoy my life now. So then you go and eat and fall into a lot of problems. If you train your mind to let go things. In the same way, when you are facing someone come and scold you, so how you react? So if you get agitated, if you take these things as just, this is a sound, it comes and goes. Okay, we have to be kind. People have different causes and conditions to act like this. So we have to wait and see. So then you can kindly talk to the person and ask questions. So why? What's the problem? Then sometimes maybe some of your actions make the other person angry. So then you can ask forgiveness. If you come and if you start reacting and start scolding back the person, so that is not the way how. So that because you are run based on your feelings and perceptions. So these things are really helpful because when you take things as impermanent, non-self, not self, and leads to suffering, so your mind gets calm and quiet.